Hey, hey.
Heyo.
Happy KOTG Tuesday.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, look at this. We got the
Full
whole
house.
gang back together tonight.
We got the band back together tonight, boys.
We're getting the band
Full
back
house.
together.
Football's over. No dance tonight.
Mm.
Nothing. We got open night.
Yep.
No one had to stay late for work. Nothing.
No volleyball for Brian, is that right?
Volleyball, yep.
No
Volleyball
sick
took a
kids. Nothing.
Yep.
We're back.
We're
Yeah.
back.
Brian is back. See?
I'm the one who's been gone the longest, but
The voice.
I'm
is
glad
back.
to be back.
The voice of KOTG.
Smooth sounds of
Just to
Brian.
Actually, I'm just a wheel guy, so we do have wheel coming up, so I'll be here to run that for everybody.
A pretty sweet wheel tonight, actually. I'm pretty excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what do you say we get this show started, you guys?
Wow.
How about
For sure.
how about we all grab a glass, keep off the grass?
Now, I do have to say,
Cheers.
since I'm back, I get to show you guys a new Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah.
This one is the Voodoo flavor, and it's the mystery flavor for 2023. And it is actually like a cherry airhead flavor.
Oh, all right.
So
Sounds like me.
it's interesting.
Nice.
Cherry airhead.
You're
That's
a cherry
no cool.
airhead.
Brian, if I didn't know you, I would know none of this about Mountain
Oh, yeah.
Dew. I would not
I had
even
no
realize
idea.
Mountain Dew flavors. Like,
I'm trying to get him to sponsor me, but yeah, it's taking a while.
Nice.
I didn't
A lot
think
of
there was
people
anything
happy to
beyond
see you
like
back
cherry
here,
vanilla.
Brian.
What's that?
A lot of people happy to see you back here.
oh yeah.
I'm glad to be back. Missed you
Yeah,
guys.
man. We missed our
you guys.
Brian.
Missed all our live chats, so glad to be back.
Alrighty. Episode 135. Holy cow.
Yeah, buddy.
Just seemed
Yeah.
like yesterday we were doing episode 5, you know? So, but yeah, we've been at it a few years and appreciate all the support, all you guys in the chat. Can't thank you enough for showing up every Tuesday night and jumping in here with us to hear us talk about grass. So tonight we got a special guest with us. We got Russell Taylor. Russell is from Live Earth Products. And we're going to dive into the show tonight, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the company and what his role is and some fun facts about what he does. So, Russell, we're going to turn it over to you and let you run with it.
Nice. Hey, thanks for inviting me. It's a good group of guys here. So my name is Russell Taylor. I represent Live Earth Products as vice president. Live Earth Products was founded by my father in the early 80s. So I'd like to say long before humic acid was cool, I was helping my father mine it. So that's what you see behind us, a picture of the mine. It was
Do you guys
founded by my-
do you guys
Go ahead.
own the property that the mine is on, or
Yeah. So unlike a lot of companies, when I say, this is our mine, we literally own the ground that the mine is on. So we, early in the early years, he would drill the holes and I would get the dynamite prepared, a little 9-year-old kid out there helping my dad with mine humic. So you can't make these stories up. So been around my whole life, seen all the very cool things humic can do. Our ingredients are used in different industries, surprisingly enough. So humate is an ancient plant deposit. So when you think about that plant deposit, there's things that are in there like the organic acid, but also the minerals. So our company actually extracts ingredients that are used in dietary supplements, cosmetics, animal feeds, fertilizers. So the technology of humate is these organic acids help absorption, and that technology can be used on a grass leaf or in animal or even makeup. So it's a very unique application for these products.
and do you guys, what you mine, do you consume everything that you mine, or do you actually sell off anything to be further processed by other companies?
So in the United States, there's only about a handful of maybe 6 or 8 companies that have mines, right? And almost everybody else is buying raw ingredients on the market and then processing them further. So we as a company sell raw ingredients and do white label manufacturing, where we put their name on our product or a blend just for them. And we also do our own house branded name that has Live Earth all over it. So we do both, and most manufacturers will sell ingredients depending on their quality. So humate deposits vary on their quality. As you can see, ours has that sandstone layer on top. What's unique about that is that's helped prevent the water from leaching through. So those water-soluble components like the fulvic acid are still there. Some deposits in the United States have a little bit less cover and lower fulvic value. So those companies may not be processing ingredients that are used in other industries like dietary supplements like our firm.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So then, go ahead.
I was going to say, you asked a little bit about me, so I'll give you a little bit of background. I am a certified crop advisor. My background is ag. I do consult on a lot of very exciting crops, corn, soybeans, cannabis, things like that. I'm also, I volunteer and have been the president of the Humate Product Trade Association for the past 10 years. So I'm that guy meeting with the USDA and the EPA and all the regulatory bodies on behalf of the humic substance industry. So I can get pretty deep into the weeds about what's going on in the humic industry and help dispel some of the misinformation out there. But anytime you want me to put on my industry hat on and talk about the industry, I'm a shameless promoter of the humic industry, and I'm happy to say all kinds of good things about what we can and can't do. So always happy to help out on that front. As far as
Awesome.
when I was in college, actually, I paid my way through college as an applicator. So I was out spraying lawns. And what was funny about me is I wouldn't take a lawn unless I could do a soil test. These people were coming in and saying, "Hey, Russ, help me fix this lawn." And it was just strange to them because they could get their hands around the fact that, these blow and go guys that come in, spray it green and move on to the next lawn. They're like, no, let's practice our trade. Let's actually find out what's the problem. And I actually had a tank mix that I would actually add different ingredients based on, their soil type and what they needed.
That's cool.
Would you send off the samples to be analyzed, or would you have the ability to do it yourself?
No, I sent it off to a lab. I always wanted a third party to say, "Hey, this is what's wrong in your lawn." That way, I wasn't upselling them, an iron chelate when it was just me, saying, "Hey, you have chlorosis."
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
awesome. That's fascinating, and it's also really fascinating. What you mentioned about being the president of, what was it? You said the Humate Trade Association.
Yeah, Humate Product Trade Association. It's a humatetrade.org. So it's a trade association focusing on just humic substances. So a lot of the companies that you might see selling humates and humic acids, most of the reputable companies are there as members.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, one of the things that we kind of like to start with, because this is going out on YouTube, it's going out on all the podcast platforms. Can you give us a little background for anybody who doesn't know? What are humates? What is humic acid? What's fulvic acid? What is that doing for the plant? Specifically in a lawn care application, but also in whatever other kind of agronomy. I mean, can you kind of give us a little bit of background to get started?
Yeah, happy to dive in there. And I see one comment about the snake oil in there, so I'll try to cover some of that. The first thing you've got to understand about humates is what they are. Humates and humic acids are the end result of decomposition. So when you talk about soil organic matter, you've actually got to break it down into two categories. You got your active organic matter and your passive organic matter. Now, your active organic matter is being readily degraded by soil microbes. Now, when I say readily degraded, you've got to talk in time how quickly it takes to degrade it. So let's say you put 100 pounds of compost out on your lawn. You're trying to build up your soil organic matter. Any guesses on how much is there next year?
50%.
You lose 60 to 80% the first year's CO2. The microbes are breaking it down that quickly. So you could, in the first year, you could have as little as 20% or less of that compost remaining if the soil microbes are doing their thing. So if you put 100 pounds of humic acid down, what's going to remain next year? 99.5. Yeah, the humic acid has already gone through that degradation process. And so you've got active organic matter and passive organic matter. Now, active organic matter is microbe food. The microbes are breaking it down. And a lot of times people say, well, okay, we'll put humic acid down and saw microbe activity go up. So it must be a microbe food. But they're connecting the wrong dots. Humic acid has already gone through that degradation process. So when you put humates down, you're trying to build up your soil organic matter. You're trying to cause that soil particle to disaggregate, form colloids. Inside that colloid, you actually have oxygen, water, areas for nutrients to be held through the micropores. And that's what actually helps stimulate the microbial activity. And so people are just connecting the wrong dots, thinking that humates is good microbe food when it's not. If there was a buffet,
in between step.
yeah, or even further, humates have already gone through a degradation process and a polymerization process. This deposit you see behind me used to be an ancient tropical forest. Imagine the Amazons right now, right? All that organic matter that's stacked up. And thousands of years might make, a few inches of humate. That's what you've got going on in your soil. So when you're applying humate, you're trying to hit the fast forward button. You're trying to get thousands and thousands of years of organic matter down quickly. Now, those people say that humic acid doesn't work. Well, let's say, for example, we apply humates to a soil that has already high amounts of soil organic matter. Well, you're adding something that's already in abundance, right? So you might not see as much of a result. Typically, you see better results in soils that have high salts, low organic matter, marginal pH. Those are the kind of situations where humic acid in a soil amendment works the best. Now, there's a little bit of a phenomenon that we don't fully understood. So if you get a group of humic acid scientists together and say, hey, what's going on with liquid humic acids? We see a hormone-like response, but there's no hormones in there. So in a liquid form, we see a biostimulant effect. There's a few things that go on. Nitrogen retention we see. We also see more roots. And those are results of a biostimulant-like effect. We don't see that in the granular form nearly as much as we do the liquids. And that's why you see these products used as either a soil amendment or a biostimulant.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, we're all here to learn something.
So what would you say to someone who maybe doesn't want a lot of organic matter? They don't want to hold water. They want, a space to, kind of just be able to control exactly what they have and not really rely on Mother Nature. What would be the counter argument to that?
So the first thing you got to understand about your soil texture is macropores and micropores, right? So the best illustration that I've had given to me was think of a city street, right? So the macropores really flush the water through. And that's like your interstate, right in the middle of the highway, right? That's just how you get cars through a city real fast. Micropores are like your little city side streets that are clear out in suburbia. You're not going to get through there fast at all. They're smaller. They're not easy to navigate. That's the same thing. So when you actually add organic acids to a soil, you're causing that soil aggregate to form, and it forms both macropores and micropores. And therefore, you actually increase your oxygen content and you're also your water conservation. Now, the USDA NRCS has got a number they throw out there that a 1% change in organic matter will conserve 30,000 more gallons of water per acre. How does it do that? It's just by making those macropores and micropores that help store the water nutrients. It doesn't make the soil soggy because you actually make those macropores that help facilitate drainage away.
So imagine that humic's got to kind of work its way through the soil, with the moisture and irrigation and stuff. If you do a few humic applications, I guess in a granular form, more for that the soil structure effects versus the biostimulant, how long before you would actually see any kind of meaningful changes to your soil structure? How much, is there any way to speed that up? Do you need to be watering it frequently? Does, warmer weather help? I don't know. Just curious.
Yeah. So the one thing about soil organic matter is that's not something that's going to change quickly. If you took a 1% change in soil organic matter and boiled it down to a per thousand basis, you'd have to put down about 460 pounds of pure organic acids, pure humate, to get a 1% change in organic matter, which is just a ton of material. That's a lot of material to put down on one application. So you're not going to get that soil organic matter effect quickly. We had a project we did in Arizona. It was a low organic matter soil, and they applied a little bit of humate over about a 10-year period, and we saw the soil organic matter change about 1%. We added up the amount of product that was applied versus the amount of organic matter change. The math didn't add up. We got almost 3 times the organic matter in the soil versus what we'd added. And what it was we saw more root exudate, more roots, more microbial activity that actually it's kind of like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. You create an environment for microbial activity, more roots, you get more of that growth. So using
What was
humate.
what was the crop that they were using when they were doing that test? Was it
That was actually turf. That was
turf.
the-
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm always concerned, like if we're talking like agriculture and we're talking crops at harvest and we get rotated versus like a lawn it's the same thing there year after year. So that's good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this was turf. So yeah, but the one thing about humic acid in a granular form is you've got to remember there's actually three components to raw humate. You've got a water soluble portion, which is your fulvic acid, and as soon as you put humate down and get it wet, it's going to start leaching that fulvic acid through. The humic acid is only alkaline soluble. And I get this a lot where people say, oh, it's got to be activated. It's got to be soluble. And I come back and say, how much of your soil organic matter is actually soluble? And it's usually frictions. Most of your soil organic matter is not soluble, and it still does its thing without being soluble. Humates don't have to be activated or soluble to benefit your soil. It just helps get them down in the soil further. So when I use humates,
liquid versus granular really wouldn't matter or
no, it does. So that's what I was getting at was how to use these tools. So when I'm using granular, I'm usually punching out a lawn, aerating it, and putting the granular down. That's going to help me get down faster. When I'm doing let's say a compaction area, it's got a lot of traffic or something, I'll use a liquid because I know it's going to penetrate better. So it's just like using tools in a toolbox. You got big hammers, little hammers, use them differently. Yeah.
So most of your liquid humics, are they 12%, 8%?
So that's a fun question, and I'll retort back by which test method. So most people don't know this, but there's actually about 3 or 4 different test methods used by manufacturers in the United States. So I sent off a sample of our humic acid. It's called Liquid 6. And I sent it off to 4 different labs, main labs in the United States, and asked them to use their current method. The Liquid 6 from one sample came back 14%, 7.5%, 6.5%, and then 0%, but 7% fulvic. So the difference is actually in the test method. So there is colorimetric, CDFA, HPLC, and ISO 19822. The one that I recommend everybody look for is ISO 19822, because that product actually, when you analyze with that method, removes the ash. The other methods actually will leave the ash in there and fortify the analysis. So when you analyze it, it makes it look a little bit bigger than it is. So you'll see these products like 22%, and then when you in another state, that same product might be 12 because the ash has been removed. So it's something the humic industry is working on fixing. You'll actually see a seal that'll say HPTA test method certified. You'll see that on our Liquid 6 product, and that seal says it's been used by a test. And the only way you can really say, okay, this product's 6 and this one's 12, is when you see that seal. You can say, oh, these products are using the same test. I don't have to be a humic acid chemist. Because unlike fertilizers, there's no standardized test for the active ingredient yet. In fertilizers, there's a standardized test for nitrogen. For humic acids, there's not.
Is that something you've been working on as the president of the trade association for the humics?
Yeah,
to get that's standardization, third-party verification in place.
Yeah. So that's get back to the snake oil comment earlier. When you've got 3 or 4 different test methods, the consumers start seeing these numbers all over the place. How come this product, 20% didn't do anything? And what gets even worse is on the fulvic side. Now, you guys are probably going to be really upset at this, but a lot of the fulvic acids on the market are not fulvic acids. They're lignosulfonates, corn steep liquor, soybean extracts. They basically trick the fulvic test. And the best example I can give you is, imagine we were trying to say that wine only had to be red and come from a grape. And then somebody starts selling grape juice as wine. It's the same thing that's going on with fulvic acid. Is the test was so broad, they were capturing all organic acids. So now you see things that aren't even have been humified or being sold as fulvic. So the first question when you're buying a fulvic acid is, where was it mined? What earth and deposit did it come from? Because some of these products are just that, as soybean extracts or corn steep liquor.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's disappointing because fulvic acid does a very cool thing. It's the smallest molecule, right? And fulvic acid has a very high cation exchange capacity. And maybe not all of your audience is familiar with that, but cation exchange capacity is a molecule's ability to hold positively charged ions. So calcium, potassium, ammonia, all those things you're trying to get into the plant, the fulvic acid will hold on to and aid absorption. So if you're selling somebody a molecule that's supposed to help absorption, and it doesn't help absorption, that's how you get that snake oil, bad language, is because the product didn't perform as it was. So you just got some really shady people out there selling, bad products. And the trade association is working really hard to get rid of those Me Too products and products that aren't even humified. So it's been a challenge.
Have you guys, are you guys doing any kind of, have you identified producers or I guess, sellers to the open market of humic products? Are there brands that you guys can say, we've met with, and we can say, they do have our seal of approval, or some level of verification has occurred that the trade organization can point to? Like, I'm thinking,
yes.
Simple Lawn Solutions is one that has a lot of different humic acid products. I think, Propete, I think they have humics, or anyway, some big companies, and yourselves, I suppose, as well.
Yes. So the humic, if you go to humictrade.org and look on the certification seal, you'll actually see a list of companies that have gone through that certification process. Third-party verification said, okay, I send this to a lab, third-party verified it, and then they send that to the Humic Product Trade Association. The Humic Product Trade Association reviews it, says, here's your seal of approval. So that seal of approval has just barely been launched, so it's starting to go on products now. I would say first and foremost for your listeners, go to the Humic Trade website and look at our members. And those are people that are actually trying to elicit change. So you see some very common names through that.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Soil Biotics, yeah.
So they were part of the Andersons.
I've got some of their granular humic.
Mm-hmm.
And in there you'll see the list of certifications. Those approved.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, so we're working really hard to get the to really improve information for the consumers, because not every consumer has the time to be a humic acid specialist. You just want to get a product that's going to work. And so let's try to make this as simple as possible. Let's try to change the state laws. Let's try to change the labeling laws and make them more favorable for the consumer. So that's the whole goal of the trade association. And my company is not directly affiliated with the trade association, but we are a founding member. So we try to promote the association as much as possible and support everything the trade association is doing, because it's only legitimizing good products like Live Earth and some of the others you saw on the list.
Yeah, well, can we bring it back to Live Earth? Can you pull up that image of that soil conditioner? Can you talk a little bit about your guys' soil conditioner and some of the things that you guys have on you guys offer?
Sure. So this is our Humate soil conditioner. The neat thing about this product, it's naturally pH 3.0. So this is raw mined material that's been granulated, nothing added, nothing taken away. It contains humic acid, fulvic acid. It's got a small amount of iron and sulfur in it, maybe 1.5%. So you will get a nice color change just by adding the humate without a nutrient. A lot of people will use our humate in conjunction with the fertility. And that's usually, before aerification, after aerification, something like that. One of the best times is actually before you sod. We were talking about this a little bit earlier before the show, but Live Earth's been on the Rose Bowl Stadium since 2006. And they use our humate before they apply the sod for the stadium. And the reason is humate has nutrients to make them last longer. So again, if we circle back to that cation exchange capacity, humates have a high CEC. And so you're trying to retain those nutrients like ammonium and potassium, all those other plant nutrients that you're trying to keep in the soil profile before they're lost or volatilized. So it's a neat product.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it was my number one product when I was an applicator. When I was in college, that was the one thing I would go to.
Would something like a sandy soil or for instance, I have a very high clay, clay soil. Would those types of soils, do you think, benefit from something like that?
So typically we're using humate when there is low organic matter high salts, compaction. Usually those are the issues we're checking off. Soil texture is not really a criteria for using humates. We're looking for other things that are causing problems, because the organic matter is generally the issue, not the soil texture.
Bill, did you do soil analysis? Do you know what your CEC is?
I'd have to go back and look at my test. I don't recall if that was included or not. Actually, I might be able to pull it up, but
yeah. So
Yeah,
Russell, thinking about like my lawn, like when I did my soil analysis, my CEC is like, I want to say like 23. So I'm up there quite a bit. I got fairly clay soil. I got some good Iowa black dirt, but we got a lot of clay because whoever built this house pulled all that good stuff off there and left me with the clay. But so high CC, salt. I'm high on salt, and then my organic matter is not high. So from that scenario, I've always said, like, when I apply humic acid products, I get a good response, and that kind of marries up with what you're saying. Is if you kind of have those things, then in theory, like, that's kind of a good recipe for utilization. Is that correct?
Yeah. So first, there's two things that drive CEC, and one is soil texture, and the second is soil organic matter. So a lot of times, a simple jar test, if you see your CEC high, but you're like, man, this is kind of sandy soil, why is my CEC high? The organic matter can drive that. But you just qualified it and said, hey, my organic matter is low and my CEC is high, then you can say, yeah, I've got a clay type soil. Yeah. Now, the one thing you've got to remember about some of these soil situations is a lot of times you're playing musical chairs. What you've got floating around the soil solution and what you're trying to actually store in the soil. And I'll give you an example. In a sodium type situation, that sodium is floating around in the soil solution and there's no place for it to go. It's going to aggregate around the plant root. So if you put something in there that's going to kind of soak up some of the sodium, there's actually less sodium floating around the soil solution, and there's actually more osmotic potential. And that plant deals with the salt stress better. And so that's what humic acid is doing, is actually adding more exchange sites for some place for those sodium molecules to go. Now, whether you're trying to store sodium or ammonium, they're all cations, right? So anything that's positively charged is going to attach to the humic molecule. And so University of Tennessee trial, where it was a sandy type soil, we added the humic acid, and they got 20 more bushels of corn. And the only reason is because that humic acid helped that nutrient last longer in the soil. So a lot of times people are using humic acid, not for any of the soil building benefits, not helping to try to build up soil organic matter, but simply just trying to take out the highs and the lows of their nutrient applications and keep a nice even green.
Gotcha.
So I did find my soil test from earlier this year. It was the Earthworks test, but I'm not sure which one is the one we're supposed to look at. It's got holding capacity was at 15.7. It says that's maybe a little bit on the
that sounds
and then
like
the organic matter.
Yeah. It's not crazy high, but it's not.
No, it's not in the middle. It's just slightly on the high side of the middle. So
is it like 10 or 12? I think 10 or 12 is like kind of standard.
So when your golf courses are going to be like 3 to 8, right? The sandy type soils. Your loams would be like in the teens. Once you start getting to high teens into the 20s, that's when you start creeping into the clays. And anything above like 20.
There you go. Yeah, so I got a lot of clay, so that makes sense then.
So when you apply liquid humic acid, how much, how often is it necessary?
So,
like my CECs are below a 5.
So humic acid, I call it my shots of whiskey theory, and you guys might like this, but 1's good, 2's twice as good, 3, somewhere along the way, too much of a good thing is turned into a bad thing. and you regret doing it. But we've seen this in field trials with humic substances where you get an effect called hormesis. And what it is you've stimulated the plant to a point where that stimulation is no longer beneficial and becomes a stress on the plant. And you see this in corn very often, where 1 gallon did great, 2 gallons, we got 20 more bushels of corn, 3 gallon, it kind of flattened out, and then 4 and 5 gallons, it started tapering off. So with humic acids, you've got to look at what's keeping that grass from achieving its genetic potential. Now, you might be paying for high dollar seed, but you've got high salt water. So what's keeping that plant from achieving its genetic potential is like reclaimed water. We see this a lot in Arizona and California, where you've got the salts that are coming in. And so we'll actually apply more humic acid than we normally would to help soak up some of the salts. And I call it the poison with the cure. And that's usually the only time where we're actually applying over label rates. When you got lower organic matter soil or EC soil, like you said, I try to divide it out. So if I'm normally putting 8 ounces per 1,000 square feet 3 times a year, I might space that out and say, okay, I'm going to put 2 ounces out and just increase my application rates more frequently. That way I'm not just putting it all in one shot. And it'll help with that sandy type soil.
I normally run 3 ounces to the 1,000, which is basically a gallon to the acre, because my place is 3 acres. So basically all the math is done by the acre. And I try to apply some anytime I'm applying a granular, just to help the granular, work a little better. So.
Yeah, it's an excellent time to use it. Anytime with your nutrient profile, because we'll see that in crops, is the humic acid will make that nutrient last longer. And typically when we're taking our liquid 6, our liquid humic acid, you'll see generally anything about 3 gallons per acre is you've got to have a reason to be putting it in. Not that you're just rolling in money, but that, we're looking for an agronomic reason that there's something going on.
Gotcha.
So what else do you guys have? What other products you guys have besides this humic? I heard you had some fertilizer too.
Yeah,
we do. So there's one we actually call Blitz 22. That was when I was an applicator in college, I worked on that formula. And when I started developing our relationship with the Rose Bowl, the earlier superintendent's like, hey, well, let's call this the Rose Bowl formula. And the problem was if our relationship ever ended, they would kind of keep that name. So we went with Blitz 22, kind of a football theme.
I like it.
Humic acid plus nitrogen, a little bit of iron chelate. I don't know if I've got it listed. We've got a little bit of an outdated site, so you might find it easier on Amazon than our website there. But we do have some products that are sold locally. We sell through a lot of order in Western United States. For those on the East Coast, you might struggle to find us and have to resort to Amazon. So you'll find that product available there.
Well, yeah, even on Amazon, I'm looking at it over here. I mean, even on Amazon, $9.95 for a hose-in sprayer of these Blitz 22.
Yeah, it's humic acid. I got 3 forms of nitrogen, a little bit of iron chelate in there. It's a nice product. The only downside of this product is it does contain a little bit of urea. So if you're applying in this in the middle of the summer heat, we've all put a little bit of liquid urea on and kind of smoked out the leaves a little bit. So that's one you don't apply in the summer heat. Make sure to water it in. But that's an excellent formula. It does a bang up job on grass. I used to give this out to real estate agents to help green up a lawn for when they were trying to sell a house.
There you go. Do that before a house party or something.
Better than turf paint, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. Got some
That's
quick
less cheating.
Release.
Yeah.
And how much square footage does one of those bottles cover?
There's only about 3/4 of a pound of nitrogen in there. So usually they're recommending about 800 to 1,000 square feet on one of these smaller bottles.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
32 ounces covers 1,000. Saying.
Yeah, about 1,000 square feet.
So, but I see, it has slow and fast release in it. So with the ammonium nitrate and urea.
Yeah. So Steelcut asked. He was asking, are you saying that the humic acids can make a quicker release, nitrogen act more like a slower release fertilizer? I mean, is it that dramatic of effect, or are we just talking like things that would already be kind of hanging around in the soil are just going to be hanging around a little bit longer?
So what you've got to understand is the ammoniacal is a cation, right? So the ammoniacal nitrogen is going to attach to the humic molecule. The nitrate actually has the same polarity as soil and the humic molecule. So the nitrate is repelled. And that's why you find nitrates in all the wells and aquifers in the Midwest, is because that nitrate is being repelled from the soil. So your fast release is typically your nitrate, right? And so the humate doesn't really help store that. What the humate helps store is the ammonium, which is going to be lost by volatilization. Your microbes can convert these into other forms that are lost in the soil. And so the humic acid is just storing the ammoniacal form.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So what other, let's see here. So we have I'm just looking at your website. We got a whole lot of stuff. So we got the soil conditioner. We got a whole bunch of. I mean,
I imagine a lot of these
different-
would be really good for flowers or home gardens as well. Is there a formulation you guys have that's specifically to help with, like, I don't know, flowering bushes and things like that, roses? Like I see that picture there of this emerald green. I don't know.
Crop duster.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about humic acids, and I'll make a general statement first, is, we've talked about the CEC a few times, but think of humic acid and fulvic acid as a tortilla chip, right? What are you going to put on it? Guacamole, salsa. So you're using the humic and fulvic molecule as a delivery method. So a lot of times we're blending nutrients with that. So, for example, our 888 Plus. The 888 Plus was actually designed by landscapers that said, look, I'm going to throw a bag of triple 15 out, and I'm going to throw a bag of humate out, and it doubles my labor. Could you put them in the same bag for me? It wasn't any we're just trying to save the guy some labor. If you look at our 824, for example, our 824, there's a paper that was put out by Purdue University. And Purdue said, okay, the ideal ratio for lawn fertilizer, for maintaining a lawn fertilizer, is a 4:1:2 ratio. This will give it the maximum amount of nitrogen without creating excess phosphorus and reduce your runoff and not cause any problems with the soil. This is the balanced fertilizer. So we said, all right, well, let's see how much product we can put in the bag to match that 4:1:2 ratio, and it ended up coming out to an 8:2:4. So that's some of the logic behind what's going into our products. And we're trying to use the humate in conjunction with these other products to
Fenway
help the landscapers. So
this comes in granular as well. This Blitz 22.
Yeah. So this is methylene urea and humate mixed 50-50 basically. Okay. I'd like to say it's some recipe.
Methylene urea is like broken down by microbes, correct?
Right. So you've got a 16-week release window on this. This is very commonly used by soccer fields in California, where they've got to take and post like, hey, we applied some fertilizer on this. It's not going to kill your kids. And they've got to do that every time they apply, right? So they're like, look, can you put something else that's going to last? We've got soccer club and then school and then all this other stuff. Can I get something that's just going to chug along, keep this thing green? So that's what this product is designed to do. It's designed to,
that's cool.
I wouldn't say it's going to give you that wow green, but I like it because, it just chugs along. It doesn't sting. You don't get these peaks and valleys, and the humic acid really mellows it out and gives it a nice green color for a long time.
Cool.
You said 16 weeks?
16 weeks. Yeah, wow. It's kind of a long stretch, but the methylene needs to be broken down by the microbes. And so, I mean, a lot of people don't understand how nitrogen is made slow release. And so for some of those that are kind of unfamiliar with it, plants only take up two forms of nitrogen. They only take up the ammoniacal form or the nitrate form. Everything else is a form that needs to be broken down by the microbes so the plant can use it. So when you're taking methylene or urea or some of these other products or polymer coating, I'm sure you've seen these polycoats, or what they're doing is they're kind of coating it like a jawbreaker and creating these layers the microbes have to break down, and then you've got a fresh dose of what was water soluble or available. And so that's how you're assembling these products. And the methylene urea is one of them, where it's just kind of this product it's got a methylene attached to it, and the microbes have to break it down to make it more available.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's cool, because then if you get rain, you don't really got to worry about the rain necessarily.
Huge flush.
Yeah, huge flush. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be like a good going into summertime maybe or something like.
Well, I mean, if you're talking 4 months, like I need to put that down at the end of spring.
That's true. Yeah. Get that down by like April.
I'm putting one app down. That's lasting my whole summer. You know what I mean?
Get you all the way through August. Yeah.
I only got about 4
months. I don't know. There you go.
Well, hey,
if you have a warm season, that might be a winter application, for like say California or Florida.
I actually want to look at this real quick, because this looks like this looks like a product that we're kind of used to from ProPete, but this is a soft rock phosphate 050.
Fossil.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of
a trick. We use the humic acid to increase the phosphorus availability. Now, we see this a lot with people that are doing overseeds with rye is they'll, instead of putting a high phosphate fertilizer, when you do a soil analysis, you see high phosphorus, low availability. What you're using is using the humic acid to increase phosphorus availability. So here, what we've done is we've taken rock phosphate and humate, blended them as powders and reacted them. So the acidity of the humate is helping release some of that soft rock phosphate, and make it more available. And that's the trick, is we're getting more available phosphorus by using the humic acid to do it. But you could, for those that already have high ppm of phosphorus in their soil, they can just throw out some humate when they're overseeding and get that phosphorus release and help that plant root.
Okay. So this doesn't. Do you guys have a silica product by chance?
We don't. That's one thing we don't have is, we try to stay within our lane. And, what we're at is we're a humate business first and foremost. So every product you see has 50% or more humate in it, some type of formulation.
Okay.
We're adding something to it to make that product, added value, but it's always got humate in it. That's we lead with that.
So your granular product of humic is what percentage is it?
45% humic acid using CDFA method. It will score higher or lower depending on the other analytical methods, but yeah, 45% humic acid. Our liquid 6 is already at 6%, as I mentioned earlier, and depending on the lab analysis, you'll see 14 to 0 depending on the lab number. But you'll see those seals that say those are certified organic, relisted, and
I'd love
safe
to
for kids and pets.
know about a company out of Georgia where it scores.
There was one I tested, and they're fairly well-known humic acid online, and they didn't score that well. So
no, I think it's probably the same place I'm talking about.
Name it. Name them.
Yeah, man. Who is it? Who we talking about?
We give you the initials.
Drop it. Hot take.
We can give you the initials. It's like G, F, C.
It sounds about right. As president of the Humic Product Trade Association, I try to be fairly neutral.
And they want you to apply it every 14 days.
And like I said, the shots of whiskey theory. If you got a good humic acid every 14 days, you're going to overstimulate that plant if you're putting label rates down. Our corn trials showed that 4 or 5 gallons per acre was really, there was no more additional benefit at that point. You were actually causing some stress on the plants. We saw the best yield around 2 to 3 gallons of humic acid per acre with the nitrogen. So
you probably just make more money selling water. I'm going to get a beer. It's that time.
I mean,
Ooh.
The sweet sound.
means it's time for Lawn of the Week.
Brian, we've missed you, buddy.
What? You want me to explain?
Yeah,
We-
man. Take it
we
away.
need-
All right.
We need
all
you to
right.
tell these people what is KOTG Lawn of the Week.
Let's
All
go.
right, folks, here we go. KOTG Lawn of the Week is the best of the best. We got a hashtag out on Instagram, and it is KOTG Lawn of the Week. Use that hashtag when you're showing off pictures of your lawn, front or backyard, whichever you think is the best. And all of us are following that hashtag, and we search the Instagram pages throughout the week to see who is showing off the best lawn. So we debate on it, find who the best one is, and we will talk about you here on the live cast. If you do win for that week, you get your choice of a ProPete fertilizer NPK or their fossil product, PHOSUL. ProPete's been a great sponsor of ours for the last couple of years. They've been doing this, so shout out to them. We appreciate them continuing to do that. And post it in a post or a reel, and we can find them. If you do it in the story, we'll lose track of it after 24 hours, and we may not find you again. So this week, after a little bit of debate, we had about 3 or 4 nice looking lawns.
Everybody's
We
looking
chose WG Smoking and Stripes, right?
Yeah.
Remember, there's a underscore or a hash or a period in there or whatever, but WG Smoking Stripes. Congrats, man. You had a nice looking yard this week. We got a picture of it?
That time of year, right? Get out there, get it looking super fresh, and
I know our warm days are getting numbered, so take advantage.
A lot of the overseed projects are starting to come into full whatever you want to call it. They're starting to kick in. They're being lush. People are starting to mow them now and starting to get some stripes in them, and that color of a new seed that's just overseed. That lawn it's got that pop to it.
That youthful glow.
Yeah, exactly. That nice bright green. So
yeah.
I'll share it off on my screen here.
Yeah,
Wesley.
This was better than another contest recently that was held. That's for sure this winter.
Yeah. So South Bend, Indiana.
Yep.
He loves to smoke on the barbecue, and he likes to lay down some sick-looking stripes. So
sounds like a good weekend.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Those just look long, don't they? Just long stripes. Jeez,
You see those footprints?
When you can't read a tape measure, some things do look pretty long there. Hey, right, go back down to that grub. That's go back. How long is that grub, Nate?
Got at least 6 inches.
at least.
Woo! Now we know the truth.
I can't wait until you fall asleep next week. I'm going to just teabag the shit out of you.
Hey, the thing about it is, if I'm going to fall asleep, I definitely need to fall asleep before you, or I won't go to sleep.
No shit.
Better bring those earplugs, fellas.
I was going to say, should we bring the earplugs? I think that's
And a
probably
face
good
mask,
idea.
it sounds like.
Some of those breathe right strips for Nate.
Hey, if you got them, I'll try them.
There you go.
But,
I'm bummed. I'm really bummed that I can't make it. I really thought I was going to be able to go this year. So pissed.
There's only a few days left to get there for
week.
$25.
So, hey, Russell, I know before the show you had mentioned that you would love to put some of your product in the hands of our viewers that are in the live chat right now. Is that true?
Absolutely. You know what? Just like a drug dealer, the first hit's free. After that, a lot of people are skeptical about humidcast. The best way to learn to love it is to try it. Live Earth is a small family business out of Utah, and you don't get on large properties like the Rose Bowl Stadium without being a legit product. So we'd like to do some giveaways and get these people trying it.
All right, so you guys kind of know the drill. In the live chat, if you want to have the opportunity to win a bag, type in Live Earth products, and we will put that wheel together, and we'll spin it here in, we'll say 5-10 minutes. And
that's a bag of the soil conditioner, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. And we're gonna do a couple. We're gonna do a couple winners, not just one. So we're gonna do a few of them. So watch all those.
Oh.
Lawn sauce. I not to be rude, but I think we're gonna not put you in there because I believe shipping would be outrageous.
Actually, where's the shipping? I can ship it anywhere in the United States for $26.
Hawaii.
He's in Hawaii.
I'll ship to Hawaii.
Oh, never mind.
Hey.
Put him in there.
Very cool. Very cool.
Put him in there.
Get in there,
You get some content out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did have someone win once that was overseas in Europe, and a hat cost like $100 and some odd to ship a hat to them. So we are very careful with our guests and make sure we're shipping. We're not breaking the bank to ship something, but
we'll ship to the United States, no problem.
Awesome. So Russell, I know Zach always has a question for our guests, and Zach, you want to ask that one?
Yeah, what's your lawn look like? What you rock?
So I have cool season, obviously. Utah, where I'm, is about our frost is basically Memorial Day to Labor Day. We're high elevation, so I've got a cool season grass. My front yard is an RTF. It's a Rhizomus tall fescue, and my back is just Kentucky blue. So I seeded them. I seeded the front and I sawed at the back. The back, I put down about 1,000 pounds of humate per 1,000 square feet.
Holy cow!
So
is it like 2 inches thick or what?
Yeah, I put it out and tilled it in. So our local high school actually put 12 tons per acre down. Now, that sounds like an eye-popping number, but I'll back the math out for you. Your grass roots in an area about 6 to 8 inches deep, right? We'll just use general rooting depth. If you took an acre of soil, 6 to 8 inches deep, and made a pile, scooped it up all in a pile, any guesses to how many pounds of soil you got?
Shitload.
A lot.
Yeah.
2 million pounds of soil. So if you're going to want to change your soil organic matter 1%, that's 20,000 pounds of pure organic matter you'd have to put down to change your soil organic matter on an acre 1%. So if you do the math real quick, back that out, say we're going to change our soil organic matter 1%, the local high school did, but they put 12 tons per acre down. So that was bond money. They'll never be able to do it again. They'll never apply humate again. They can't afford it again. That was a one-time shot. It's a legacy application. But what you want to see is an opportunity when you have to get that humate down. That's the one shot before you saw it. So that's if you can get it out, rake it in, that's the number one time you can put it down. That's the next time is actually when you aerify. Punch it out, get some humate down. But that's when I seeded my lawn in the backyard. That's what I did. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. So you may have some input on this. So normally, I would aerate in like around Labor Day weekend and let everything kind of come back around and close back up and be looking good and riding into the winter time. So this year, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to wait until after Halloween. Early November is my plan, and I'm going to aerate then with the kind of test, I guess you would say, to kind of almost like leave the whole, non-growing. I'm basically done growing, kind of leave everything open over the winter. So once I aerate, I'm planning on putting like some gypsum down and probably maybe last application of fertilizer or even like some type of product down. Would you think, in your opinion, would that be a good idea, or would using like a product like your soil conditioner be better more during active growing season, or will it still soar and come?
Yeah, sorry about that. There's never a bad time to put humate down. So I like it in the fall. I like it in the spring, and the reason is in the winter you get a little freeze thaw action in your soils where they'll get wet, freeze thaw. It actually moves the dirt around a little bit. So in the fall is a great time to put humate down. In the spring, just the same. You get it down, get it aerated. Those are the good times. Now, I've got people in the middle of summer that say, "Look, I just barely learned about humate. Can I put it down in July?" Yeah, there's never a bad time. What you've got to remember is the freeze thaw action moves the humic acid around. The water moves the fulvic acid. So you could put the humic acid out in July, water it in, and that fulvic acid is slowly leach through the soil and do its good things. So there's never really a bad time, but ideally, fall and spring are the way to go.
So like with my theory, if I do it this late in the year and it snows, would it have like a similar reaction with like the water in the snow, or no?
Here's a trick for you. Actually, I've got some YouTube videos on this, and maybe if you search humates and on top of snow, you'll see in northern Utah, they apply the humate on top of the snow, and it helps melt the snow. And
actually, we had that guy on our show. We had him on our show. Who's the guy from Utah University we had on? It was him.
I think it was Harris, Harris. From
there's one guy that's flying it on for drone, and there's farmers will put it on with these spreaders that sit on top of the snow. But yeah, they put humate on top of the snow. So no, there's never a bad time for you to put humate down. And the local sports field, our local high school, calls up, be like, "Hey, softball season's coming up. Can you help us get rid of the snow?" And we'll go apply humate on top of the snow. So yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about the snow washing the humate away. It's going to be there for springtime. So it's not, humic acid is not like nitrogen. It's not a nutrient. It's not going to rinse away.
So as far as your granular, putting it on top of the soil versus putting it down with aerification, good, bad. To me, I'd rather put it down when I had cores or, was doing some type of aerification and get it down in the soil. But what about just putting it across the top?
Totally fine. And the fulvic acid solubilizes it gets in the soil. It's great. You get a little bit of iron and sulfur release. You still get a nice greening effect. Most guys that do that will back off the rate. So, if you've got a tough clay soil and you're really trying to make a difference, you want to aerify it, get some humate down. If you've got a fairly loamy lawn, you're just trying to give it some love, put a lower rate of humate down, maybe 12 or 15 pounds, and just broadcast it on top. It's not going to hurt.
So yeah, he used a humate soil conditioner on this field in Utah, and to melt it.
Looks good.
That's how he spread it. So he spread it like that.
Yep.
That's sweet. What was that? The professor from Utah State?
This is Turf Harris. He came on with all the.
So what actually makes it melt the snow? Does it liven up? I hear all the time, if you liven up, it's just because it's black and the sun shines on it.
It's just because it's black and it absorbs the heat, so it reflects it.
So it's like green. It's like green sand, but it has some good properties.
Like black sand.
Yeah, exactly it. That's the benefit. Is you're trying to get some other benefits besides just putting out something that's going to add color. But yeah, that's it. It absorbs the light, so it reflects it. I wish I had a better, some technical answer, but sometimes it's just simple.
I know a lot of times
you can see that black there though, and then boom, he just.
Yeah, that's crazy right there.
How thick was the snow?
So there you go.
Don't answer
right there.
Don't
answer. Oh, that's neat.
It's like a couple inches if I've ever seen it.
At least 12 inches, Olee.
Yeah, that's a foot of snow right there.
So when there's snow on the ground,
ask my wife; she'll tell you.
Poor girl. She better never meet nobody else.
Russell, quick questions. A fellow Utah here. We have IFA. I don't know if you're familiar with IFA. Does Live Earth supply their humate to their IFA product?
Yeah, so Live Earth, I mentioned that earlier on. Live Earth does some white label manufacturing. So IFA Bountiful Humate is Live Earth Humate. We package it, and our humate's in that. So you'll see our brand in a lot of California stores, like Aquaflow and Site One and Imperial Sprinkler, and so a lot of these irrigation supply companies. But in Utah, Intermountain Farmers, that humate is from our mine. So don't feel like you're getting switcheroo, or that's our stuff.
That's good to know. I was actually going to be stopping by tomorrow and getting a bag. Do you guys sell Live Earth there at the store at IFAs?
Yeah. A lot of our products you'll see available IFA, like our Blitz 22 granular, you can get IFA. Some of the irrigation supply companies will also stock our products like Blitz 22.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually found it in Des Moines at it's like a nature center that sells like bird seed, and it's like the most random store. And then all of a sudden they sell like this Live Earth soil conditioner, and like I don't know, it was weird how I kind of stumbled upon it. But I was talking to a guy from Iowa, and he was like, I found it in this place in Des Moines, and I was trying to find it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, birdseed place? Like, it was weird, but sure, yeah, that's where they had it. So
what it is all the minerals that are in humate make a good mineral feed for animals. And so that same humate you see as a soil amendment is sold as animal feeds as a mineral for livestock mineral. So sometimes like Paul Roberts and Son in Postville, Iowa, they sell, our humate soil conditioner, but it sneaks its way into the animal feed industry. So product, different bag.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, Harry Lawn just said Des Moines Feed and Nature Center. Yes, that is correct. Grab some bird seed while you're there. But yeah, Brian, how's the wheel look?
The wheel is looking fantastic. Could I show it to you?
I think it's about time.
Let's see what you came up with.
So I know we mentioned it earlier. What was the recommended? This is a 50-pound bag. Is that correct?
Yeah. So a 50-pound bag, if you're applying that at label rates, 15 pounds per 1,000 square feet, you can do about 3,100 square feet per application. If you've got a clay type soil, you can dial it up. I personally use 50 pounds per thousand on my heavy clay soil, but my pH is 8, and any type of acidity I can get will be a dose of love. So.
Mhm.
And you said this product has a pH of 3, so
3, yeah. So
3. Okay,
it definitely has some acidity to it.
gotcha. Okay. Well, Brian.
All right, so we got 34 names in here. So I'm gonna shuffle it 3 times, go full screen, and we want to just do the 5 in a row. 1, 2, 3. All right. So for those people, good luck. Here we go. First spin. All right.
There you go.
Harry Lawn. Right
Speaking of Harry
First
Lawn,
one, Harry
The
Lawn.
man that knew where to find it. So
Yeah. He's gonna get some.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so here
Who's
we go
writing
with
these down?
the.
someone better write these down.
Well, yeah, either write them down or we'll have to go back and rewatch it.
I'll have to get a pen.
All right, here goes spin number 2. Davis Lawn.
congratulations.
He's I think he wins a few things here and there, so congrats
Yeah.
again on that.
What is
What was that? He's like, whoa, like excited, not excited. Oh, that's probably what drunk one guy was doing. Oh, as his name passed by.
Yeah.
All right, spin number 3. Oh, wow. That was like a sliver, man.
Yeah, he eats that one up.
Hello.
Josh is not happy.
All right.
All right.
All right, so that was 3. I feel like I need to switch up the music. What do you guys think? Or is it just keep it going?
No, dude, I love this.
I don't know about you, man, but it's hitting pretty hard on my headphones.
Yeah, dude.
Feel good.
Russell,
All
what do you
right.
think? You like that song?
You know, I'm kind of fond of the Wheel of Fortune in Vegas, so you know maybe like
Mm.
All right, I'll do the 4th one and the 5th one. I'll switch it up and do a kind of a Wheel of Fortune one here. All right, number 4.
Here we go.
He's what is he? At least a 2-time Lawn of the Week winner, right?
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, I think so. We're getting more and more now.
Yeah.
Our veterans.
All right. So let me try to find. I don't know if they have any of those kind of songs here.
Is that Zach playing
What is that?
quiet music in the
Wait, what?
background? Is that bagpipes? What is that? little, it's like Highlander
Oh yeah, that's
or Last of the Mohicans.
That needs to be like our outro for. We'll see you guys next week.
I added this in for some reason at one point. I can't remember why.
Patriot.
Remind me of what's.
Yeah,
I
man.
kind of like it.
What's the one with Liam Neeson's in it?
I was
He
thinking
was wearing
like,
kilts and stuff.
I was thinking Braveheart.
There you go, Braveheart. So
They
regal.
said they was gonna have that put on a shirt.
Oh God, that'd be great. I hope someone does. That would be great.
I'll send them the
Drunk
file.
Lawn Guy, you got a week till your flight with Nate. Get his face
Oh
on
my
a shirt.
God.
When
I
you
hope
meet him.
they don't
I need
do
like
that.
I need to figure out my outfits I'm gonna wear for GIE, guys. I gotta like pick out my. you know,
Man, I
like,
bought.
ready.
I got some fresh shoes that I'm gonna bust out for GIE.
Ooh, nice.
I'm pumped to wear those things. I wore them once so far to break them in.
Break him in. All right.
nice.
All right.
All right.
One more spin.
Here's our fifth and final one. Hopefully you guys like this song. It was kind of on the fly. Didn't have it really picked out, but I thought it sounded good. Here we go.
Here we go.
Fifth and final. All right.
Almost got their
Down
tight
one
white
line.
pants on. Tight white pants.
Lonsos
right.
picked it out. He knows where that music's from.
Let me say. No.
Alrighty.
That's how we should
Well-
end the show. Is that wrap it up?
No way.
That was a good
Braveheart.
show.
Yeah. Well, Russell, I will say that I am definitely going to probably have to go back and listen to this one again because you spit a lot of great information,
Oh yeah.
and it was very informative. And like I said, I learned a lot, and I'm excited to learn more. So appreciate you coming on.
These are the best episodes, and you gotta go back and re-listen
Yeah,
to
I mean,
it.
I saw a few
Yeah.
comments on there, guys.
They
saying
got
that
a
they
Instagram
appreciate
page.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's anything
Yeah.
I need to answer offline, hit me up. I'll bore you guys to death with humic acid information. We try to,
Yeah.
any company that's giving you good information is one you should respect. Just
Definitely.
buy
I
it,
was gonna
trust
say
it,
that.
trust the label. We stand behind our information. So
Where can we find you guys on socials? What's your tags?
there's
You know,
a long
Instagram.
story that deals with Al Gore, and so I don't have all the live earths, but at Live Earth Products, I think is our Instagram handle.
Yep, Live Earth Products. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that something you run or somebody else runs that, or somebody
I have-
messages that account?
I have somebody helping me out with that one because you know what,
Okay.
small family business. It's
Mm-hmm.
by the time you do the mining and the manufacturing and the processing, so got to do a good job. But sometimes it's
And
me,
somebody
like,
asked if, since we live here in Utah, do you guys allow us to come down and DIY mine our own down there?
I say explosives permits. I'm a good guy to know.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah,
Never mind.
come on down. We'll show you the mine. It's a big hole in the ground. Looks just like the one behind me.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think it'd be cool to have a follow up show this winter, and just go into the pure mining process. You know what I mean? Like talk about that and like
Oh yeah, I'd
you know,
love
get
to
it-
learn about that.
like I want to see
manufacturing and
pictures of you detonating some dynamite and like how you're
Mm-hmm.
actually like breaking it down and getting it from that
Mhm.
where it's at right now to what you put in a bag. That'd be a
You
cool.
talked about the biostimulants too. That you said you could talk for hours on biostimulants. I'd like to.
Yeah, it's
go
an
straight with
exciting
that.
topic. We need a whole hour just for that one. But I mean,
Yeah.
people should at least know this. They're changing the biostimulant laws. So if that's not a huge teaser, the things that we couldn't say on the label, we'll be able to say. So it's
Interesting.
stay tuned. There's all kinds of cool stuff coming on biostimulants.
I guess what we're asking is if you're open to coming on later this winter, either early or later winter time before
Yeah.
season starts
November,
back up.
December.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about biostimulants.
Okay.
You, my opinion on biochar or anything. I'll give you the science on it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
We'll
Very
definitely
cool.
fill you
Yeah,
in
thank you
on
very
that.
much.
So,
Yeah.
quick question: So you blow up, you blast. So then, do you have a grinder or like a hammer mill? How does it get granulated from that stage?
So the process is we blast the sandstone off the top, and then we set it behind us, and then the material below is soft and black. So we actually just take an excavator and just shear it, and then we screen it. We don't hammer it. And the reason is if it's hard, it's got a lot more of the clay. Yeah, it's got more clay in it. We want the soft black stuff. So we screen it and then granulate. We just granulate with water.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Yeah, it just basically should smear, is I guess one way to put it. If you were to squeeze it, just smear.
Yeah, you want you don't want a super hard granule because if it doesn't break down in the field, it's just not getting in your soil.
So would that be a good way to test some granular humic that someone buys? Like put a little bit in a cup, and if it doesn't dissolve and break down, and
you want to see the granules break up a little bit after some water is applied to it. If it stays hard for a week or two, you've really got to question how that's getting in the ground and being efficacious for you.
Yep, that reminds me of another fertilizer, and definitely not Nate. But thank you, sir. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. You want to stick around right after we end this? We chat for a little bit afterwards. So
yeah.
But hey, thanks again. Appreciate all the live chat. You guys showing up for us week in and week out, supporting us and supporting our guests on the show. We love you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on the show. Russell, thanks for coming on and teaching us a lot of stuff. And some of you guys will see us at GIE next week.
Go Hawks.
Yeah.